In news from Jamaica, the Western Region stakeholder briefing to launch the 6th Biennial Diaspora Conference was held in Montego Bay on Monday, with the actual conference to be held there from June 13 to June 18. Highlighting the contribution of the diaspora to the country at the event, State Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Arnoldo Brown, notes that the Jamaican diaspora contributes approximately 30% of Jamaica's gross domestic product, GDP. He says the figure stems from various studies, highlighting that almost half that amount is from remittances. He, however, notes that besides remittances, there is more to be done.
We are not just looking at remittances, that there are far more that the diaspora can do in partnership with Jamaicans here and are doing. Recently, we had the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the Junior Stock Exchange listed in Canada. So that will allow Jamaicans in Canada to invest in the stock exchange and receive tax credit in Canada. That's a significant development. And it therefore means that it provides another opportunity, another venue or means through which members of the diaspora can participate in the local economy, whilst at the same time making a real return on their investment.
Mr. Brown notes that a major push for this conference is for Jamaicans abroad to invest in the country, despite its challenges.
Jamaica offers a value proposition as an investment destination to the world. How is it that we have Irish company out of obscurity becoming a global brand by investing in Jamaica? So why then can't Jamaicans participate and get that same value proposition? There's nothing preventing that from happening, quite frankly. And therefore, the idea was to orient the conference in such a way that persons of Jamaican heritage can recognize that there is value to be gained by investing in Jamaica.
Mr. Brown says the diaspora can also contribute to the educational development of the country in its bid to achieve developed status by the year 2030. He says there is a shift in how migrants are viewed, as conventional wisdom on the topic waned, with the term brain drain now being referred to as brain circulation and brain gain.
If a Jamaican leaves here, invariably, and say a university graduate, they leave and they go to a university in a developed country or elsewhere. They get a master's, they get a PhD, and then they return to use that information. Or even if they don't physically come back here, my president is saying, the use of technology. They can now do that via the technology platform that we have. And in fact, I think in this very city, there was a procedure that was recently done utilizing the technology. Doctors were not here in Jamaica, but they were working over the technology platform with their colleagues here in Jamaica to perform the procedure. And more you're going to see that happening. So it therefore means that rather than look at the movement of people out as something that is negative, we have to look and see how can we make this beneficial to us.
In more news relating to the Jamaica Diaspora Conference, Vice President of Business Development at Jamaica Promotions, JAMPRO, Robert Scott, says this year's conference aims to examine options while cementing opportunities to facilitate trade between Jamaica and its diaspora.
We want to have 1,000 diaspora attendees. Last time we had 500, and we have very resolute plans that will let us have 1,000 this time around. Then within that 1,000, we want to have at least 10% be what we call the business and professional diaspora. In other words, these are persons who we want to create networks with, to do business with, for them to create investment, joint ventures of one form or the other with the Jamaicans here. And so JAMPRO is actually leading on that road, building that database and reaching out to those persons who are not just going to come to get the information, but they're coming with a check leaf to be filled up for business here.
Mr. Scott says while the focus of networking will not shift the original goals of the conference, there is a renewed drive to attract a specific demographic.
We have persons in the Toronto Film Festival playing such a key role as we develop our own film industry. We have persons well placed. So we need to have those connections that will help to get the people that we need to be here. We need to have a greater engagement of the clergy. For the simple reason, what is that rallying point for Jamaicans overseas? It's the church. And so the more that we can engage the clergy, it means then that the lines of communication, the opportunity for us to continue to share information, then we won't rely on a biennial conference, but we'll have another channel to get that information out.
The 6th Biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference will be held on June 13 to 18 at the Montego Bay Convention Center.